In this video, I'm going to show you guys how to buy your first rental property without using your own money or credit. Hey, what's going on everyone? My name is Sam Kwok, one of the Kwok Brothers real estate investor, and in this video, I'm going to give you guys a 12-step plan based on our own experience of buying rental properties without using your own money or credit. Now, I know it sounds far-fetched. You might be saying, well, that's sort of like a pipe dream, isn't it? Like, is it an impossible? Well, I'll tell you guys what, Daniel and I, my brother and I, we were able to buy our rental properties without using our own money or credit. Now, I'm going to give you guys a 12-step, so let's go and dig in and dive right into step number one. So step number one is know your market. This might be preached over and over and over again. And when I say the market, it's not necessarily where, which is important, but it's also important to understand when. You guys know that the economy is in cycles. Sometimes we're in a recession, sometimes we're in a boom where the economy is, it's kicking butt, it's doing really, really well, unemployment's down, everyone's got a job. And you have to understand that you may want to buy real estate when it's cheap, and that tends to be during the recession, and you may want to sell properties when the economy is at its height, at its boom. So understanding when to buy rental properties could also save you lots of money, as well as giving you the maximum amount of return and profit. Now, of course, we have to talk about where, and you have to ask yourself a question. Do I want to invest in my own backyard, in my own town, or do I want to go elsewhere, or even in other states, or in even other countries? So understanding where you want to invest is going to give you a very good starting point, and when is also going to give you a good reference as to what type of strategies you're going to use, what tactics are going to work best in a given time period, as well as the location. Generally speaking, and this is something that is my opinion, my experience, and my own observation, typically the coastal states tend to have the highest price. Therefore, it doesn't translate to being the best rental property candidates. We actually prefer to invest in Midwest when it comes to rental properties. Again, our own opinion, our own observation. Make sure you do your own research. All right, step two is understanding how to find deals. And it's best to find deals that are not necessarily available in the public. And the reason why I say that is it takes you out of the competition equation. If 10 or 12 other people are competing or making the offer on the same property that you're looking at, chances are the prices are going to go up. Demand obviously picks up the price, and there's not a whole lot of negotiation or bargaining chip that you may have. Rather, what we recommend you guys is learn how to find deals that are completely out of the market, not listed with a real estate agent, that are properties that are oftentimes found not necessarily available for sale, but you find individuals with problems or challenges that need solved by your knowledge and expertise, and in the way, being able to buy that property with some creative methods and acquisition. We actually have a completely dedicated video with finding deals that are not in the market. We'll go ahead and leave that video down below in the link description. So go ahead and finish out the rest of the 12 steps. We're going to go ahead and leave the link down below where you can go ahead and learn how to find deals that are not in the market. To give you guys a real quick synopsis or a preview, I love calling for rent signs, typically because they lead to a landlord that might be interested in selling, I should say. All right, step three, understanding owner financing. Now, I know some of you guys may not know what that is. Some of you guys may have. Some of you have been following us for a very long time, so you guys know what it is. But for those who don't know what owner financing is, it's a negotiation and arrangement where the seller accepts monthly payments from you, just like a bank, in exchange for the ownership right. So it's kind of like rent to own, whereas in this situation, under owner financing, you get the ownership of the property right away. There's no bank needed, no bank financing, no credit checks. So this is the part where you don't need your own credit. So if you don't have the best credit, you don't have the most stellar credit in the world. In fact, when I first got started, I didn't have the best credit either. So understanding how to negotiate for owner financing is very, very crucial when you don't want to use your own credit, nor you don't want to use a bank financing. We do have a dedicated video once again about this topic. I'm going to go and leave it down below in the link description box. Go and check it out. We did a role play between Daniel and I where I was the seller, Daniel was the buyer, and he was able to negotiate for me to set it up in an owner financing way. So understanding owner financing is going to be able to get you guys into properties without having to use your own credit. Step 4, now that you guys know how to find properties as well as understanding owner financing, it's very important for you guys to walk through the property. So when you walk through the property, make sure you look at the utilities, look at the hardware, which is the boiler, water boiler, look at HVAC, so you want to look at the air conditioning as well as the heater, the furnace. You want to know also the materials. When was the last time the flooring was updated? When was the last time the property was painted? Because if it was updated very long time ago, chances are you may have to have some upfront cash to be able to update your property so that you can go ahead and rent it out to some of the better and best candidates out there. So make sure you go do a walkthrough, check the exterior, walk around. You may want to walk with an inspector or a general contractor, someone with a keen eye to look for any sort of errors, mistakes. And this is something that I should have done when I first got started. I remember buying a 3-unit apartment building, and I failed to walk through the property with someone who's more experienced than I am. And later on, I found out that there were code violations and I had to spend a ton of money to fix them. Not a good day. So make sure you walk through the property. If this is your first time or you don't have a whole lot of experience with construction or maintenance in general, make sure you walk through the property with an inspector or at least a general contractor who has a keen eye to look for these errors. Okay, the next step, step 5, is analyzing a rental. So now that you know the owner financing, you found the property, you walk through the property, you know the general condition of the property, it's time to analyze your rental property. And that's going from understanding what the rent is going to be, how much you can charge, what are the average rents that are being charged in your area, as well as what is going to be your profit. After all, we want to make money. This isn't charity work. This isn't hobby. We want to make sure we have positive cash flow at the end of the day. So you want to factor in costs like maintenance, management, vacancy, insurance payment every month, property taxes. You want to factor all those costs in as part of the equation. And don't forget, if you are doing owner financing or you're using bank financing, you're going to have to do monthly payments for your financing and your loan. So make sure you factor that in to your overall equation. So what I like to do is take your gross rent, your total rent that you can charge, subtract all the expenses, subtract your monthly financing payment, and the bottom line is going to be your cash flow. In fact, we do have a dedicated video just on this again. Go and check it out. Link description down below where I'm going to show you guys in detail on how to calculate the numbers on your rental property. So now we got all the analysis done. We know that this property is a rock star property, lifetime deal. We need to get it. Now it's time to make the offer to the seller. Now, if you're going to go down the owner financing route, there's going to be a little bit of tweaking from your traditional buying process. What you want to do is, for us, at least in our experience, and we're not attorneys, so please don't take this as a legal advice, but from our experience, we prefer to do what's called a letter of intent. A letter of intent is simply a single-page document to the seller where we just outline the terms, we outline the details of the offer, the purchase price, the interest rate that we're offering, we're going to ask to the seller to take, and all that detail is going to lay out to the letter of intent. If the seller does accept your letter of intent and wants to proceed, this is where you're going to have an attorney write up a contract, draft a contract if you're doing owner financing. Now, if you're going with the traditional route, whereas you're doing a down payment, you're going to the bank financing, you're going to need what's called a uniform contract. And a lot of times, if you consult with a licensed real estate agent or broker, they're going to have your state's border realtor contract. And this is something that you may want to use when you're going down with a bank financing, and you want to use more of a uniform, a standard template contract given by the border realtor in your state. So do that and make sure you make your offer simple. Make sure you make your offer understandable to the seller. Step 7, this is where it gets a little fun. This is my favorite part. This is Daniel's favorite part, is understanding how to raise money. Now, we got to the part where we know how to skip the bank by using owner financing, right? But from our own experience, a lot of sellers still want to get some sort of down payment, whether it's 5%, 10%, 20%, whatever the amount is. Remember, this video is all about buying your rental property without using your own money, right? So one of the things you can do is, yes, you may have to do a down payment, but it doesn't necessarily have to be your own money, right? So this is where we like to call in for an OPM, other people's money. So here's a little quick story on how we got to understand the whole process of raising money. I remember when Daniel and I first got started, we started making offers on owner financing, and we got really good at it. In fact, we had sellers who accepted owner financing offers left and right. I mean, it was not common or not uncommon, so there's a double negative there. So it was common for sellers to accept owner financing offers the way that we negotiated. But the problem was most sellers wanted down payment, and we felt stuck, we felt frustrated. We just, we couldn't figure it out. Like, how do we get sellers to not accept any down payment? But I remember watching the TV show Shark Tank, and I'm sure you guys seen the show as well. But in this show, we saw a gentleman walk into the show as a contestant and walk out with $100,000 without having any prior business experience as well as prior business expertise. And something clicked in our head that day. A light bulb went off, and we had an epiphany. We said to ourselves, we asked ourselves a question: what if we can do the same thing that this guy did? We go to these individuals that do have the money, and their challenge is that they don't have all the deals in the world, but they do have the money. So we approach these individuals that do have the money, whether it's doctors, lawyers, wealthy professionals. We went and approached them, and we solved their problem of not being able to find the right or the good deals according to their needs. So a lot of the individuals that we approached that did have the money did like the idea of owner financing because it provides a lot of protection. There's no bank financing involved. So a lot of these wealthy individuals ended up partnering up with us to fund our down payment. In one particular sense, in fact, this is our first instance that it ever happened, is we had an individual bring in $60,000 as a partner. That's actually how we bought our first rental property portfolio, and we were able to close, and we were able to buy it with owner financing. So using partnerships is a phenomenal way to cover the down payment if you don't have the money yourself. And a lot of times what we do is we give away anywhere between 30 to 50% of the cash flow and the equity of the deal to bring in those partners in to cover the down payment. And virtually, with the concept of owner financing and knowing how to raise money, now you are able to buy properties without using your own money or credit. Pretty cool, right? All right, step number 8 is managing your partner. Now that you know how to raise money, you know how to approach these individuals, it's time to manage your partners. Now, this is where your legal counsel, your attorney may come into play and help you structure the contracts and the agreements between you and the partner. Now, it's super important, okay? Super duper important that you have everything in writing. Don't just do deals on a handshake. Don't just promise on a verbal agreement. Make sure you have an attorney draft a contract between you and the money partner that's bringing in the money for the down payment. So make sure you manage your partner wisely, put everything on writing. Trust me, it's gonna save you a lot of time and energy down the road in case of a dispute between you and the partner. Cool? All right, step 9 is closing. This is my favorite part because this is when you get to actually buy the property. Now, when it comes to closing, be sure to hire an attorney. Don't try to go down and get your own contract or draft up your own contract. Super important that you have an attorney to help you with your contract as well as closing. And a lot of times your attorney may have their selection of a title company, and a title company is an intermediary company, an organization to facilitate the closing. Your title company may also look for any liens, or in other words, they may look for any unpaid loans on that property, any unpaid taxes, any code violations, any issues that might be stuck with the property. Obviously, you don't want to inherit any of those issues, so make sure you use an attorney that works with the title company to make sure that there's no issues or problems. Also, be sure to get title insurance as it protects your ownership right in the property, and make sure you use legal professionals when it comes to the closing process. Now, when it comes to the closing process, if you're doing a down payment, make sure your partner follows the instructions that the title company is giving you guys as far as where to wire money, where to transfer the money, and so on. Step 10 is hiring the property manager. In fact, you should be doing this as soon as you have a contract underway. The reason why you want to do this in advance is because you're going to go ahead and interview some of these property managers, find out if they're the right fit for you, make sure that they understand the rules, the laws that go with managing a property. Now, you can manage your own property, though I don't advise you guys to do so because there's a lot of nuances, details, processes, laws, and rules that go with property management. And it's better that you leave it to a professional, even though you're going to pay a little bit of a fee, a percentage of your rent. But I believe that you're going to save a lot more money and time and headache by hiring a property manager to help you and assist you in managing both the property and the tenant in that property. Step 11 is ongoing maintenance as well as capital improvement. Basically what that means is over time, you're gonna need a new roof, you're gonna need to replace the air conditioning, you're gonna need to replace the flooring, and a lot of times you may have to set aside money, a piece of your rent, for you to anticipate some of these changes and repairs along the way. So in 3 to 5 years, be always prepared to handle some of those expenses because you don't want to go negative. You don't want to have to fork over a lot of money out of your own pocket, which is not the best thing. So be prepared to have ongoing maintenance down the road. But if you're wise, take a portion of your gross rent and leave it aside for future repairs and improvements on your property. You will thank for it, your tenants will thank for it, and everyone's going to be happy. It's a win-win situation. Last but not least, it's step 12, rinse and repeat. So all the steps we talked about today in this video is repeatable, right? If you know how to raise money, if you know how to negotiate for owner financing, virtually you have unlimited supply of money as well as the deals that might come through. This is how my brother and I were able to go from 0 to 75 rental units in 1 year because we didn't have these barriers or challenges of having to go get qualified with the bank, having to go get qualified with the underwriting process. None of those were a factor in us going from 0 to 75 units. So it helps that you go ahead and rinse and repeat. Once you close on your first property, go ahead and work on the next one so that you build a mega empire of your rental properties, guys. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna leave all the links of dedicated videos down below. Go and watch every single one of them, guys. This is more of an overview of the steps, different process it takes to get to your first rental property. I sincerely wish you guys go and take this step seriously. Go watch all your videos. Cool? All right, ready, set, and go.
Hey guys, this is Daniel.
And this is Sam.
We are the Kwok Brothers. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you want to see more content value that we put out like this, what should they do, Sam?
Go ahead and hit the subscribe button and also hit the bell icon so you guys get notification for our upcoming videos.
That's right.